lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I'm here today to share my July TBR with you guys. So we've reached the second part of 2023, which is amazing. After all the reading that I've done in the lead up to Rare and Babe, I feel like I've accomplished a lot of reading, but also so far I have achieved personal reading goals as well. That all being said, I still accumulated a bunch of books from those events as well. I still have many more goals to achieve before the end of the year. So I want to make sure that I am staying on track with those, and some of this TBR will be addressing that specifically. I have some self-destructing books on this TBR. If you don't know what that means, I have a video on my channel titled This TBR Will Self-Destruct, and it's pretty much a TBR that I've got to read or I have to unhaul them within a year. I also need to stay on track with my 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenge. I am participating in the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, and I have some books that I picked up based on the fact that I have met some authors this year and I want to read their books. And then other general stuff. I've got some goals I would like to kick with this TBR today, so I guess without further ado, let's get straight into my TBR for July, where I share what I plan to read. So first and foremost, I have to mention a book that is not physically on my TBR. I have it on my audio TBR, and the reason why I've done that with majority of my 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books list is because I cannot tell whether or not they're going to be a favorite. And the book that I aim to read from this challenge this month will be The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. This one is a chunker. As I'm filming this right now, I started the prologue last week. It was okay. It wasn't gripping me. I'm hoping that this book does grip me. It's one of my friend's favorite books. I'm pretty sure they recommended the 5th season first, but I had already read the 5th season previously, so they're like, okay, read The Lies of Loch Lamora instead. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm hoping, based on the fact that they like the 5th season, that I will also like The Lies of Loch Lamora. I haven't read a dense fantasy like this in quite some time. I've heard that this fantasy is kind of like Ocean's 11, if I'm not to be mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's like some sort of heist fantasy, and it's very different from what I've been putting on my TBR as of recently. However, I'm going into it with some sort of optimism, considering that in June, I actually listened to The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I know the books have nothing to do with each other. However, I went into that book with low expectations, and that was one of the books that one of my 12 friends recommended me as well, and I was actually blown away by it. So I'm kind of hoping that The Lies of Loch Lamora will be the same for me. If it's not, then I will be devastated. However, I'm kind of going into it with managed expectations, considering that I haven't read something like that in quite some time. So fingers crossed I will enjoy it. If I don't get to this one in particular this month, I definitely want to continue on with the challenge to some capacity, but I would like to accomplish the completion of The Lies of Loch Lamora. And moving on to my self-destructing TBR, I would like to get a start on the Fever series by Karen Marie Moning. I told myself that I at least want to get to Dark Fever before the year time period is up, because I have kept these books on my shelf for almost 2 years now. I obviously have not read them. I mean, if I would have read it by now, I would probably be raving about it because everyone is raving about it. These mass market paperbacks just don't tend to grab my attention as much. I'm constantly having to dig for these in amongst my books because I like to hide these away. But I need to stop fearing my mass market paperbacks and actually pick the books up. I've heard great things about this series. I have just seen request upon request from different book box groups for special editions for the series, and I don't know if it's because people are just insistent because the covers are ugly, or if the series is actually genuinely good and I need to get in on the hype. I'm hoping that I can at least get a start on the Fever series this month. If not, it's gonna happen sometime this year or sometime before March of next year, because March of next year is when I've got to decide to unhaul these based on the fact that this TBR will have self-destructed. And these next two books I've got to mention aren't necessarily part of a challenge. I actually just want to read them because I just received them, and those are The Soulmate Equation and The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. The Soulmate Equation actually came out years ago, but The True Love Experiment only recently came out, and I just want to read it while it's fresh. Now, I don't know whether or not these are companion novels. They just came in the same Afterlight subscription month, but what I do know is that that I have not read The Soulmate Equation. I think initially I wanted to read Christina Lauren's backlist because I had the intention to make a tier ranking video for their books. I still haven't gotten through half their backlist, but I've read around 10 or 11 books by Christina Lauren so far, and I want to keep reading Christina Lauren, so I hope to get to these two sometime this year, but I would prefer to get to them this month because I just want in on the hype with the True Love Experiment. I hear great things about the True Love Experiment, and I've always heard great things about the Soulmate Equation. I've heard that this is a lot of people's favorite Christina Lauren novel, so I'm hoping that it will be mine. I kind of have high expectations for the Soulmate Equation, considering that it seems to be the favorite of a lot of Christina Lauren fans. We will see how we go with this one, but I definitely want to get to the Soulmate Equation before the True Love Experiment. If you guys happen to know, like, whether or not they are connected, please let me know. I kind of want to read the Soulmate Equation just in case I need to read it first. However, if it was just something that Afterlight did out of nowhere, just randomly, then okay, I'll take that too. I'll read 2 Christina Lauren novels for the sake of it, I guess. And speaking of new release romance novels, I have The Plus One by Maisie Eddings that I would love to read. This is the 3rd book in the A Brush with Love series. I don't know why it's called A Brush with Love specifically. I mean, last time I checked Goodreads, it was known as the A Brush with Love series, but this series follows the different characters in the friendship group from A Brush with Love, and I loved the first book, A Brush with Love. I did not like Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake. I found it way too unrealistic, and the entire book is essentially about pregnancy, and it was definitely not my thing when it comes to romance novels. I mean, that's a thing for some romance readers. It's not a thing for me. However, I have been waiting to follow Indira's story, and I'm so happy that The Plus One follows Indira. So I cannot wait to read this one. Also, look at this beautiful cover. It is so stunning. I've been anticipating this one. Even though I did not love Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake, I'm kind of hopeful that it's going to give me the experience I had with A Brush with Love. And back to my self-destructing TBR, but also a book that I would like to read for a Pop Sugar reading challenge prompt for 2023. And that, my friends, is The Power by Naomi Alderman. The challenge prompt that I would like to complete this month is to read a book that a 2023 movie or TV series is based on. And I also put this on my self-destructing TBR because I actually purchased this book back in 2017. I've had this on my shelf for almost 6 years. December of this year, it will have been 6 years because I remember purchasing this on Boxing Day 2017. I wanted to read The Power as soon as it came out. As soon as I heard the synopsis for The Power, I knew that I needed to read it. It's just I've been so intimidated by it because a lot of people are saying that while the premise is awesome, it's also very hyped. And I've just noticed that Amazon Prime have released a mini-series on The Power. So technically this will complete the prompt whilst also completing one of my self-destructing TBR picks. I hope to get to this one this month. The final self-destructing TBR book slash series that I would like to at least get started on this month would be the Flirting with Monsters series by Eva Chase. I at least want to start off with The Shadow Thief. This, from what I know, is a paranormal Why Choose series. I've read the Their Dark Valkyrie series by Eva Chase, and I really did enjoy it. However, it has been quite some time since I've read something by Eva Chase, and I do remember not being too keen on the ending for that series. I felt like it was a little bit too rushed in my personal opinion. However, I kind of hope that the Flirting with Monsters series might just have a good ending. We will see. I'm hoping that I will get attached to the romance and get attached to the story just as equally. But yeah, I need to read this before the end of the year, or at least before March of next year, because if I don't, then I have to unhaul these. And I've had these on my shelves for around 3 years now. So it's about time to do something about this. Either read it or unhaul it. And the next book slash series that I would like to start in the month of July is the Off Limits series by Katharina Mora. I would like to start with Until You this month. First of all, I mean, let's admire this beautiful holographic foiling. I keep on getting distracted by this. It's so pretty. So I met Katharina Mora at Rare, and I purchased these beautiful special editions that she printed for the event. I have my book signed and personalized, which is really exciting. And like, these have been beautiful on my shelves, but I need to start the series. I have 6 books by this author already, and I have not read a single one of them. So I would like to read at least one this month, maybe even 2. We will see how I go with the Off Limits series, but I definitely want to read the Off Limits series. I believe that this is a companion romance series that follows different characters and their romances. And I've heard good things about Katharina Mora's romances. I've heard heard that there's some spice involved, and I do love me some spice. So I would like to start the series this month. I'm hoping to let you know how I go with it by the end of the month. And the next book slash series that I would like to start in the month of July is the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. I met Penelope Douglas at Babe, and oh my goodness, it was exciting. This book right here is signed and personalized. I only just found out that these books got picked up by a publisher, and these covers are going out of print. I initially did not want these covers, but the covers kind of grew on me. I don't know, I just kind of expect the series to be dark. However, I mean, depending on how the new covers look, I might also look into investing in those. I mean, we will see. It depends on whether or not I like the series. Corrupt is the first book in the Devil's Night series. The Devil's Night series consists of 4 chunky books and 2 small novellas, and yeah, I want to read them. As I'm filming this video right now, I have only read Punk 57, and I started Birthday Girl, but I didn't continue on with Birthday Girl. I think I just wasn't feeling it at the time. I have some light reads on this TBR. I have some dense ones, like, you know, with Eliza Loch Lamora and potentially The Power. But I mean, this is just gonna be some dark, morally gray romance. I know nothing about this book. I know nothing about the series. However, I've been recently saying to myself, if I survived Haunting Adeline, I can survive anything. Fingers crossed I will get to this one sometime this month. If not, then it's definitely in my future, because I do want to read more by Penelope Douglas. I know that her books have dark themes, and sometimes I think based on Punk 57, even though that book isn't super dark per se, it's something, let me tell you that. It's pretty morally gray. I appreciated the adrenaline I experienced from Punk 57, and I'm just kind of hoping that I will experience that same adrenaline from the rest of her books. So we will see how I go with Corrupt and the rest of the series. Just a side note, Penelope Douglas had Jolly Ranchers at her table, and I had never had a Jolly Rancher before because we don't have them here in Australia, and I have to thank Penelope Douglas for opening me to the world of Jolly Ranchers, because oh my goodness, they are so tasty. I'm so happy that she brought some to Babe, because that's amazing. But yeah, I pretty much gushed to her about how much I loved Punk 57, and she was absolutely sweet about signing all my books and taking a photo with me and signing my autographs book as well. I think I'm just even more hyped to read her books now because I met her, you know? And last but certainly not least, I would like to get to the Zodiac Wolves series by Elizabeth Briggs this month. Elizabeth Briggs is an author I also met at Babe. She wrote the Zodiac Wolves series. I also recently had my Arcane Society subscription renew as well, and the Zodiac Wolves series happens to be the series of the bi-monthly period, so I'm very much looking forward to receiving those. But I had pre-ordered these signed editions, and oh my goodness, I love that Elizabeth Briggs also left a message in my book saying, "So nice to meet you at Babe," with a purple pen as well. That's pretty cool. Moon Touched is the first book. The second book is Star Curse. The third book is Suncrossed, and the final book is Zodiac Aligned. I have heard good things about this series. I don't really know much about it, except for the fact that it's a paranormal romance that follows werewolves or shifters. I'm just really excited to get to it because I've heard great things about it, and I just kind of want to read a new paranormal romance series. I mean, yes, I know that I'm getting to Dark Fever this month, potentially. Maybe I have put it on my TBR, but if I don't get to Dark Fever, I at least want to get a start on the series. I kind of want to see if I can complete the series. I think I'm just in the mood because it's the Arcane Society bi-monthly series at the moment, and because I just met Elizabeth Briggs at Babe as well. So I'm definitely in the mood to read her books because I just met her, and she was very, very, very lovely. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay till the end of the video, leave me the purple heart emoji. And if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. I'm at GSwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/GSwizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at GSwizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
I would have when I flipped it in a double. Thought that I would have when I flipped it in a double.